In this tutorial, you will learn how to use jQuery to upload files to your hosting. Hey, what's up guys? Senaid here from codingpassiveincome.com, the place where I help others to become a web developer much easier and faster than they will do it on their own. So if that is something that interests you, consider subscribing. So now I'm here at my PHP store. I have started a new project. The name is jQuery file upload script. I have created images folder, and inside image folder I have one file logo.png. I have also one folder uploads and an empty index.php file. So first thing that I'm going to do, I will just create a normal HTML document, just a basic design for this tutorial. So inside body, I'm going to have one div. I will say ID drop zone, which is basically the place where I will enable files drag and drop, and also will be able to select files for upload. Inside I will say H1 drag and drop files, and here I will say I will have one input, type will be file. Let's say I will set ID to the file upload. I will give it name attachments, and I'm going to say it is possible to select multiple files. Above of this part I will put one image. It is just my logo. Two new lines, and down below I will have H1. Let's say ID will be progress, and below that I will have also one ID where later we will append files that the person is uploaded, so it will be just like a preview. And pretty much that's it. I will just declare. Let's just quickly see how does it look. So this is the basic design, and I will just add some styles so that it looks a little bit nicer. So let's say for the body I will say, or better, let's use like this. And here I will say for the drop zone, as you can see I'm using hashtag drop zone because we are using here ID. If it was class, we will use dot drop zone. And let's say border, I will say 3 pixel dashed, and the color, which is basically my brand color. I can set the padding to 50 pixels, and let's say width, I will say 500 pixels. So let's just see. So as you can see, it is in the center. Or maybe I should just go, I will just use, just to make it more simpler, I will just say center, even if this is the preset tag, but for this tutorial it is not that much important. So let's say like this, and for the files I will say border 1 pixel dotted, and I'll use the same. I'll use padding, say 20 pixels, width 200 pixels, and pretty much that's it. So this is just the basic design. I'm also going to move this, okay. Okay. For the drop zone, I can also say marking top 20 pixels. So this is our basic design. For now, I will just set files, display, none. Okay. So now the next thing that we need to do once we have some basic design, we are going to include jQuery library and also jQuery file upload plugin. So first thing, I will go to the code.jquery.com, and here we have a list of all of the versions. For the jQuery library, I will choose the latest one, go to the minified, and here I will just copy this code. You can also click this button here to copy to the clipboard, whatever you like to do. And just before the closing body tag, I will paste this code. Okay, and this is how I love to use it. Okay, and now let's just download jQuery. You can just go to the Google and type in jQuery file upload plugin, and after that we can go to the clone or download and hit download. I will just save it to the folder of this tutorial. File upload script, save. Okay, go to the show in folder. I'm going to extract here, and now you can see here that we have a lot of the files, but the only folder with the files that we need is this one, JS. So we can just move it here and other to delete. Since I have set up some protections, I'm on a Linux, I will just quickly allow these files to be executed. Okay, and that's it. So now, if you are not on a Linux, you don't need to do what I just did in the terminal. And here I will just say script, source, and I'm going to search in the JS folder, vendor, and here we have just one file, we will include it, and I will say type, text, JavaScript, and that's it. So I will duplicate this line and just change the source. So I will say iframe transport.js, and we need one more file. It is jQuery.fileupload.js, and now we have everything that we need for this tutorial. So we are just going to write the code. So I will say script type, text JavaScript, and now I will just write document ready function. Okay, and inside of this function, so once the all libraries are loaded and the complete document is loaded, this function will execute. So I will say here, I will make a reference to the files. So I'll say files, so that the next time when we use it, it will be extremely fast. And here I'm just going to set up some events for this file upload. So I'll say file upload dot file upload, because that is the name of our plugin. And inside here I'm going to write some basic options. So I'll say like this, and we'll say URL, which is where we are going to upload our file. It will be index.php. After that I will say drop zone, which is where I want to enable drop zone. So as you can see, I have already one deal with the ID. So I will say here drop zone hashtag drop zone. If it was a class here, I will say dot drop zone. Okay. After that I will say data type, which is what type will be returned from the server. In the PHP I will use the JSON. You can use text or any you want, but I love to use the JSON. And here I'm going to say auto upload.false, because I want to verify the files before the files are uploaded. And now I'm going to set up some events. So I'll say .on, and here I will say file upload add. So when some file is added, this function here will execute, and I will set up those parameters. Also I'm going to add another event. I will say file upload done, which means what will happen once the file has been uploaded. So I will say function, same parameters, and this. And last thing is, last event is file upload progress all, which means I'm using the one progress for all files. Function. Okay, and that's it. So now we have set up 3 events: when someone add file, when the file is uploaded, and in the process of uploading files we will just display some informations in the percentage. So let's say what will happen once the person just add the file. So we are just going to set up, since in this tutorial I will just make an upload of images, I will just verify it is an image file. So I will say var file type allowed, and let's say here I will just use a regex. So I will say here slash, so I will allow any characters, and after that it will go with the dot, and I will allow GIF, JPEG, PNG. Okay, so it needs to finish with those through all. So here now I'm going to say if file type allowed dot test, or let's say if not, and now I need the name of the file. So let's just quickly show you how to get that. So in this data we have some informations, so let's just check those informations. Okay, here let's try. I want you to completely understand this tutorial, so I will just choose files. Let's say those are some test files, so let's say I will use this one. And now here in the console you can see some informations. This is an object file, and inside this object we have a lot of different informations, but what we are looking for is original files, file, and as you can see here I have some basic informations like last modified date, the name of the file, size, type of the file, etc. So what we are looking for is the name and the size. We are just going to check those two things. So how we are going to access, we will say data.original files, and now it is the first one, and we are going to access the name. So I will say console data.original files 0, and here I will say name. So let's see what will happen. Refresh, choose files, let's use this one, and as you can see the name is my picture.png. If I choose any other, it will get that, and so on. So this is very important. So if I select all files, you can see what will happen. Okay. So now we can say var file name equal, and for the size we can just say here file size. Okay, and now let's make a test. So if not file type allowed.test file name, let's say we will have here error, and let's say for the error we will set color red. Okay, so here inside this error I will say error.html only images are allowed. It's really not important. So let's test now. Choose files, let me use this one. It says only images are allowed, and if we now choose some picture, there won't be any message. It is great. Now the next thing that we want to check is the size. So let's say else if file size bigger than, let's say 500 kilobytes, like this. So if it's bigger, we will say error.html, your file is too big, max allowed size is 500 kilobytes. Okay, let's try it. Choose files. So now if we use this one, we can see that it's picture, but when we try to upload, it says your file is too big, maximum load size 500 kilobytes. And if we try any smaller, like this one, hit open, we need to refresh. Okay, like this one, it will work, which is great. And if we try any other file, there is a problem. So this is just great functionality so far. And let's say else. So if the person is uploading file, image, and if that image is not bigger than 500 kilobytes, we will just allow the person to upload files. So I will say else. Now the error, let's say there won't be any error, which is great. And here I will say data.submit, which means start uploading this file, because we have checked it and everything is looking good. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is, let's say we are going to create this file upload done. Okay, but in order to create it, we will need to write a code that is on our server, which is PHP code. So before that, let me just finish this progress all. So I will say here, let's just check again the data, what we have here. So console log data, just make sure you understand. F12, choose files, let's use this one. And as you can see now, we have informations loaded, 0, total, sorry, some problem with this. Okay, you have loaded, you have total, and you have bit rate. So now if we want to calculate the percentage, we can get directly from the data.loaded and the data.total. So what I'm going to do, I will say here var progress equal, and I'll use function parse integer just to get an integer value, and here I will say data.loaded divided by data.total multiplied by 100, because we want to get percentage, and just this, and I will just say progress dot html completed. I will say here plus progress plus percentage. So let's make a test. Choose files, I will use this one. It says complete 100%, because this file is really small, and for that reason it seems that we just got this, but basically it is uploading. We can test that just by doing this. So I will do this just to show you. So now we won't check anything, we will just allow any file type and any file size. So let's refresh, and let me now quickly find some big file. I should have it somewhere. So let's say this one, 126 megabytes, open, and here we go. We was able to see it was still fast, but okay, there we go. But if we are tracking this on some web hosting, it will be much slower, or if the person doesn't have fast internet connection. But since we are tracking this on a local host, this is extremely fast. So this part has been completed too. And now here, in order to make this one, I will just go and quickly write the PHP code. So at the top of this file, I'm going to say PHP if is set files, and let's say here attachments. We will execute this part of the code, which means if we have a request that file is uploading, we are going to execute this part of the code. So first I want to show you what is inside this variable files. So I will say echo or var dump files, and let's see, and here I will just say echo just to have it nicely formatted. So let's make a test. Go to the choose files, choose any file, let's say this one, and let's see what the server responded. Index, and as you can see now here there is a response. We have an attachments, which is an array, associative array, and also multi-dimensional, and inside we have name, and inside name we have one array with index 0, and also we have type, we have temporary name, size, etc. So in order to get the name, I will just say target file, which is where we are going to save our file, dot base name, and here I will say attachments, and here, as you can see, attachments. After that we will say name and the index 0, name 0. Okay, and I'm using base name just to get the file name. And after that I will check if file exists, target file. We will say our message will be, which will represent the response. I will say status 0, and the reason message, I will say file already exists. Else if move uploaded file, which means if we successfully move the file from the temporary location to our upload folders, so say files, attachments, temporary name 0, temporary name 0 to the location target file. We'll say message array status 1, message file has been uploaded, and here I will say the path of the file is target file. Okay, and the last thing I will just say exit JSON encode our message. Okay, and just here we can declare this message. Okay, so now let's make a test. Choose files, let's say this one, index.php, and as you can see the response status 1, message file has been uploaded, path uploads, and let's try again. Okay, now it says file already exists. Okay, so now the last thing that we need to finish is file upload done. So let's now again check what is inside the data. Okay, here let's make a test. Choose files, this one, and as you can see here now in the console it is an object, and we have a lot of information again, but what we are looking for is this one and response JSON. So as you can see the message is file already exists and the status is 0, and that is exactly what we have created on the server side. So how we are going to access, we will say data.jQuery here and .response JSON.message. So we will say var status equal data.response JSON.status, and the same thing we will do for message. Okay, message, and we will say if status equal 1, it means that file has been uploaded. We will get a path of the file, so I will just say path, and here I will display this file inside our files. So I will say files dot append, or first let's say files dot fade in, because it's not, files are hidden right now, and I will just say append one new paragraph, and inside this paragraph we are going to have one image, source and the source of this image will be our path that we have returned by the server. Okay, and pretty much that's it. Else, let's say here else, if status is not correct, we will say error dot HTML our message, and let's make a test. So now we will go to choose files, choose the file, open, and it says file already exists. So let's test another one. I'll use this one, open, and now the file has been uploaded. The result is completed 100%, and here's a preview of our file. What we can do is I can just for this image define style, say width 100 pixels, height 100 pixels. So let's just try it again. Choose file, let's choose some picture, let's say this one, open, and now the file has been uploaded completely 100%, and here's a preview. So if we try again, say this one guy, open, and it is uploaded. So guys, pretty much that's it. I hope that this is a very simple and easy to understand tutorial. I hope that you like it. If you do, please like it and share with your friends. And also, if you have any questions, please ask in the comments below. Take care.